Three places tonight. One where an accident became a novel the whole world knows. One where the number everyone repeats is wrong, and the real one is still terrible. One where two people were killed with a hatchet and no one was ever convicted. This is not a list of ghost stories. This is a record of three places where something real happened first, and the haunting came after. The order is simple. Number 3 is a room that inspired a book. Number 2 is a tunnel built to hide the dead, and a myth built on top of it. Number 1 is a murder that was never solved in a house you can book a room in tonight. I am not here to prove ghosts. I am here to separate the record from the tale and to correct it where the tale gets the record wrong. Number 3 is the Stanley Hotel in Estes Park, Colorado. It opened on the 4th of July, 1909. Freelan Oscar Stanley built it as a resort in the Rocky Mountain wilderness with electricity, telephones, and modern plumbing at a time when the valley around it had none of those things. The confirmed story starts with a flood. A power outage forced the hotel onto gas lighting. A leak filled room 217 with gas. The head chambermaid, Elizabeth Wilson, walked in carrying a lit candle. The explosion threw her through the floor into the dining hall below. She survived, she recovered, and she went back to work at this hotel, in this hotel, for the next 37 years. The legend says she never really left. Guests in room 217 report items moved, luggage unpacked, lights switching on, switching off, as if someone is still doing the rounds. In the winter of 1974, a young writer checked into room 217 in a hotel closing for the season, in a mountain valley he did not know. His name was Stephen King. What he experienced there became a novel. The novel became a film. The hotel became one of the most famous haunted buildings on Earth because a housekeeper survived an explosion 60 years earlier. The Stanleys themselves are part of the record, too. Guests report F.O. and Flora Stanley walking the ballroom. A piano, playing with no one at the keys. Old Man Ember verdict. An accident nearly killed a housekeeper. She lived and stayed. A writer arrived by chance and never forgot the room. That is how a hotel becomes a legend. Not with one ghost, but with a place that keeps giving people a reason to believe one is there. And if the Stanley Hotel is an accident that became a story, Waverly Hills is a story that hid a number. Number 2 is Waverly Hills Sanatorium in Louisville, Kentucky. It opened in 1910 as a small hospital for tuberculosis patients, 40 beds, then 50. The disease outran the building. By 1926, a new building stood in its place, 5 stories, room for more than 400 patients. It was built because the sickness would not stop, and the hospital could not turn people away fast enough to keep up with it. Underneath the hospital, a tunnel connected to the railway. Staff used it to move the dead quietly so the patients still living would not see how many were not. It has a name now, the Body Chute. Walk that tunnel today and you understand the sanatorium in a way the wards never let a patient understand it. This place was built to heal. It was also built underneath to manage how much death the healthy could be allowed to see. The most repeated story is room 502. The legend says a young nurse took her own life there in 1928 after a staff member left her pregnant. A second nurse, the story goes, jumped from the 5th floor balcony 4 years later. No official record confirms either death happened the way the story tells it. Here is where the record needs to be exact. You will hear this place claimed 60,000 deaths. Some tellings say more. That number is wrong. Historians who have reviewed the death certificates place the real total closer to 6,000 to 8,000 across the sanatorium's entire operating life. The worst single year was 1945, 152 deaths. That is not 60,000. It is still a hospital where, for years, a death happened almost every day, and where the records that could settle the number for good were destroyed in a flood, then scattered when the building finally closed. Old Man Ember verdict. The myth wanted a bigger number because a bigger number is easier to be afraid of. The truth does not need the myth's help. 6,000 to 8,000 people died in this building. That is the number the record will carry. And if Waverly Hills hid its dead in a tunnel, the last place on this record never hid anything at all. Number 1 is the Lizzie Borden House in Fall River, Massachusetts. This is not a legend that grew from an old building. This is a real double murder, and it was never solved. On the morning of the 4th of August, 1892, Andrew Borden and his wife Abby were found dead inside this house, both killed with a hatchet. Andrew struck roughly 11 times. Abby, 19. The two deaths happened about 90 minutes apart. Andrew's daughter, Lizzie, was tried for both murders. The evidence was circumstantial. No hatchet was ever conclusively tied to the killings. On the 20th of June, 1893, the jury acquitted her after less than 2 hours. No one else was ever charged. The case is still officially unsolved. You may know the rhyme, 40 whacks. It is folklore, not the record. The actual count is lower, and the truth does not need the rhyme's help either. Here is the detail that makes this house different from the other two tonight. You can stay here. It is a bed and breakfast now. People pay to sleep in the rooms where this happened. The reports say Abby never left. An older woman seen in the upstairs hallway in her old bedroom. Guests wake to find their bed covers pulled tight, a brushing feeling across them as if hands are smoothing the sheets. Shadows are reported crossing the parlor where Andrew died. A rocking chair, moving with no one in it. Cats, seen, and then not there. In 2012, a televised investigation filmed inside Abby's old bedroom. A medium working the room reported being struck hard enough to leave a bruise. No one else was close enough to have touched her. That is the sentence that holds this whole record together. Nobody was convicted. People still sleep here anyway. Old Man Ember verdict. A hotel room gave the world a novel. A sanatorium gave the record a lesson in correcting a myth. This house gives the record its hardest question. Not what walks the hallway, but who swung the hatchet and why the house never told. 3 places. 1 room that wrote a novel. 1 tunnel that hid a number the myth got wrong. 1 house where the murder was never solved and the doors are open anyway. If there is a place in this country you believe belongs in the next record, bring me the name. Bring me the source. Bring me the tale people still tell. The archive does not need every legend to be proven. It needs the story marked honestly. This record is sealed.